Good morning and good morning to you. Welcome to this Good Morning Tottenham Away episode, the Thursday episode right here outside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I hope you guys are all well. Hope you're keeping fantastically well. Your families are well and you're all having a good week. It's an international week, so following what happened on the weekend here against Ipswich, we've had a lot to steer, and still to this day, even though did I say it's a Thursday? It's a Wednesday episode. I'm really wishing these days away so we can get back to playing again and trying to forget the game against Ipswich. So guys, look, we've had a lot to think about. We've had a lot to stew on, and my word, it's still to this day, Wednesday that is. We're still having to such a bitter pill to swallow about what happened on Wednesday. But I do want to discuss a little bit with a bit of a rational mind what I've been thinking about, and this is what this video is going to be about, just my thoughts in general, what I've been thinking about. And I touched upon it on the Monday night stream. Big up guys for you, all you guys that locked in on the Monday night stream, commented, super chats, all of that. And the guys that maybe didn't follow it live, followed it afterwards, big up to every single one of you that follows us all over, wherever you are. Massive big up guys. Love the fact that you guys take the time out to give us a follow and just watch the stream and agree or disagree. That's what it's all about, isn't it? It's all about opinions, and that's all it is at the end of the day. It's just opinions, guys. Nothing is ever but for me, and anyway, for me it's never anything personal. But yeah, I thought about the game and what I saw, and I mentioned this on a Monday night, guys, and I said I don't see a team, certainly that day, even more so, I don't see a team that is working in unison. Parts of it, like when we attack, I'm talking, when I say that, from a defensive point of view, attacking wise, you can see patterns. You can see how, for example, when Sonny gets on the ball, you see Johnson cutting across to get at the end of it. Seeing the small patterns of play. But in terms of defensive unity, I don't see the same I just see a defensive unit going all over the place. How centre-backs get dragged out to the left-back position, and left-back then having to go and cover the hole that the centre-backs left, and all of that. In a 4-4-2, particularly two centre-backs really got to try and stay between the sticks. And the Spurs are kind of just, I don't know, it kind of just goes out of the window, and there's not a real great deal of unison. Every time a team attacks us, we always look like we are going to concede, or we're going to at least concede an effort on goal. And in the last few weeks, what I've seen is just that, apart from the amount of goals that we conceded, which is like, it's a lot of goals, and a lot of cheap goals, guys. I don't see a real worked goal. I see cheap goals being conceded, and that's the part that grates me the most. Because without defensive solidity, without defensive unit, I'm talking about defense, not just defenders themselves, but just as a defensive unit, and that also comes to the way that we play. We're so open, that teams now kind of know how to get us, and we give opportunities to be got at as well, and they're not really having to work really that hard to do that. And the one thing that we, apart from the Arsenal game and now Ipswich, but before then, we had made this a kind of a little bit of a fortress. So look, we lost against Arsenal here, that was one game, but we had developed amount of wins in right here. Having to lose against Ipswich, who are bottom of the league, couldn't buy a win for love or money, and we've kind of become the Robin Hood. Like, we're still from the rich, Man Cities and Villas, and then we give them out, to Palace away, and then Ipswich here. So we'll give to the poor. Like, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling, and the balance of the 11 games that we've played, one draw. We can't imagine if 2 or 3 of those defeats have turned where draws, would be higher at the table, and we'll get to the league table in just a sec. So we've having to balance that out with 5 wins, 5 losses, and 1 draw. That's not something that we can take any kind of pride in, because it's almost like 50% win losses, and that's not good for Ange. And the biggest factor for me that I've picked up from the Palace game, then with the Man City in a cup game, not Europa, it was in the EFL Cup. Although we could talk about all the changes that were made from the Man City team and all of that, but from that Palace defeat, City win, Villa win, and then we follow it with Ipswich. Just like this team, one thing that we are consistently seeing this season, that it can't be trusted in terms of, you don't know what version of Tottenham Hotspur you are going to get. And you can talk about the opposition, but you've got to look at it by ourselves. It don't seem like Brighton away, and that we had a 2-0 lead and we completely effed it up in the second half. And to come away defeated in that one, and then we've followed them with defeats with the Ipswich and Palace. And I'm talking about the manner of those defeats. It's not a team that can totally be trusted. And ones that's, and certainly consistency wise, away from home, the whole 2024 year, 2024, we've been very poor away from home. And for me, that consistency has to start balancing out with home results and away. We need to start picking up a level amount of points home and away and get more of a consistency, a balance of points that we get. Look, for me at Ange right now, that's the biggest it's the biggest crux is getting consistency with himself and the team that he has. And I just don't know if that our captains, Romero, Maddison, these are the players that I've got to look to that rally everyone round. And I'm thinking that with Maddison in and out of the team, Romero putting the performances, what are they giving to everyone else? Like if they're not, our captains are not, and our Son as well, by the way, our captains are not delivering performances to a level consistently, a level to acceptance. And they've got to be head and shoulders above everyone else. They should be setting a tone for everyone else around them. And I don't know, guys. I'm just not seeing. I'm seeing Maddison in and out of the team. Although when I see him, I don't think he's been terribly this season. I think he's contributed in a good way. But when he's in and out of the team, what does that tell me? What am I feeding off that in terms of relationship between manager and player? Son is good and bad, and Romero the last couple of games, plays over here against Ipswich, then to fly out to Argentina, which is what I said. I thought he's played here to really get the call to go and play for the Argentina national team. How he comes back from that, I don't know. I just see too many little things that I think need to be ironed out. I don't think he's going to get the opportunity to do that during this break, and we're going to go on to that. Players coming back as late as Thursday, and then we're going to have a game. A couple of days after that, 2-3 days after that. So it's a lot's going to be happening. And I think if this also, in terms of results, which is a results business, guys, it is a results business. We've got 10 games coming up leading up to Christmas, New Year's, 10, 11 games. If this is the ratio of the points that we're going to be picking up, or the terms of losses and wins leading up all the way up to New Year's, is that going to be sustainable for Ange Postecoglou? Is that going to be keeping him in the job? Those are a lot. Bentancur's ban potentially, it's got to be coming up anytime soon. Another midfielder, a good midfielder, we will lose in there. It's not. Look, in terms of the league table, I said earlier on, in terms of the league table, we've had 2-3 times leading up to the international breaks where we followed it with losses. I said 2 or 3 draws in those defeats could have banded us up the table. So we're not a million miles away from getting in touch with that. But if that consistency doesn't kick in, we will not make that jump into the Champions League, Europa spots where I think we should be at if we had those. But we're not. The reality of the matter is, and we can only go by facts. Facts tell us that we're not there because of the inconsistency that we have in our team. We're in Europe. We're still in Europe. We're in a good place in Europe in terms of table-wise, and of course, EFL Cup. We've got Man United next time, so it's not all lost. It's not completely lost. But if we don't start tackling these issues and dealing with them properly and quickly, I think these 10 games we could be in trouble in terms of the manager getting under pressure and the whole environment becoming really, really toxic. And we know, and we've all been there before, we know what it's like here and how quickly it turns if that don't get sorted out. Let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comments below. Like, comment and subscribe, and as always, forever always, come on you Spurs.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.